All right, what is up, ladies and gentlemen? Astrocatical here, and welcome to the Astrocastrophe. Tonight, we are starting a new series with Fatal Frame: Mask of the Lunar Eclipse. Now, this has been on my itinerary for quite some time now. I am a huge fan of the Fatal Frame series. Anyone who knows survival horror knows that Fatal Frame, generally speaking, is a pillar of the survival horror community. I think it's one of the top 3 survival horror franchises. You got Resident Evil, which is obviously #1, Silent Hill following behind it, and then Fatal Frame. Or at least back in the days of yore, back in my generation, you had the big 3, and I would say that it was, yes, Resident Evil, Silent Hill, and Fatal Frame. Resident Evil just sort of takes the cake with the finish line because it's just, you know, obviously the most oversold franchise of them all. It has the most games, it has the most money going towards it, it has the most marketing. I'm not going to say it's my favorite of the top 3, but it's certainly one of them. I typically prefer the original Silent Hill series, but alas, Team Silent is no more, and we are stuck with Blooper. And hopefully I just shut up about it at this point, because I've been talking about it so much I don't even want to bring it up anymore. But anyways, this is the 4th installment in the Fatal Frame series. I've played 3 of the Fatal Frame games, the first 2, the 3rd one. Oh yeah, I did play the 3rd one. I did not complete the 3rd one. And the Maiden of Blackwater, which isn't bad. It feels more like an arcade game than anything, though. It's not really scary. It's fun, but just not scary. This one is the 4th installment. I have never got my hands on it until now. It was on sale, and I'm just like, you know what, screw it. So I bought it, and I've been meaning for this one for quite some time. I think me and Dr. Notmere will tag team this one. I will start it off. Maybe he'll jump in somewhere along the way, but let's get straight into it. Ooh. You know what? We're gonna go on normal. You have to put a scary game on at least normal. A game that's too easy is it's just not scary when it's easy. Okay, just the brightness so that all 3 ghosts are visible. Oh. That one in the corner sort of creeped me out. Okay. I didn't see it at first, but I like my game to be a little dark. Yeah, I like it to be a little dark. It makes it more enthralling as a survival horror experience. So we'll go with that. This is a work of fiction. Any similarities to actual organizations, events, or living people are not real. They are all in your head. More or less, that's what it meant to say. It's all in your fucking head. Oh, I better not put this on YouTube. Can't swear.
Misaki, 本当にここに来ればよかったのかな。写真の場所でも何も思い出せなかったし。もう帰ろう。私の言う通りにしてればいいの。まどかもあんな風になりたいの。そう、私たちを見てしまった。次は私たちの番だ。神隠しにあった5人が順番に。やめてよ。
Spirited Away. It's actually like a phrase in Japanese culture, like that movie Spirited Away. It's from a phrase that they have. Prelude blossoming Madoka Tsukamori. Alright, walking. Walk using the left stick. You can also use the left stick with the L button pressed to strafe. Around, use the RS to move the camera. Alright, your objectives may update as you progress through the game. You can check your current objective from the menu screen, so if you're unsure of what to do, give it a look. Alright, I wonder if I can put this in English. I mean, I don't mind reading the subtitles. I feel more at home with the Japanese language. Because it's a Japanese game. This takes place in Japan, so, you know, it helps with the immersion. But, you know, some of the viewers might prefer English voices. But it looks like we don't have that option. General settings. Okay, well, here you have it. Anyways, this is the first Fatal Frame game to sort of take that leap into the over-the-shoulder third-person perspective. This is not like most survival horror games where you're shooting a gun. This is basically camera obscura. A rusted newspaper rack containing several ancient-looking newspapers. The paper crumbles to the touch, and the print is too faded to read. Photos lie scattered on top of the cabinet and in the drawer. Photos have faded and are no longer recognizable. Some freaky deaky masks. Let's see here. Wonder if I can graphics setting. High. Yep, I got everything right on the dot. Door's locked. Sinister masks are on display. Hold our left trigger to run. While running, the camera will automatically follow behind you. Use the left stick or right stick to perform a quick turn and face the opposite direction. Just oh, okay, I see. I press it down. Yeah, this one already feels a lot more atmospheric than Maiden of Blackwater did. Yeah, I'm already liking this one a lot more. Oh yeah, nice lighting effects, everything. Is that Miss Kia's flashlight on the floor? Misiaki, my bad. Your flashlight illuminates dark areas and helps you investigate your surroundings. Use the right stick to shine the flashlight in the same direction as the camera. No, it's not Misaki's. She's...
Misaki? Misaki?
Uh-oh. I've got to find Misaki. It must be locked from the inside. Misaki?
ここに鍵があるかも。
Second floor nurse station. Yeah, everything's locked. Nothing behind there. That elevator probably doesn't work, just second guessing myself. No, I don't think the elevator works. I don't think it's in service. All right. So it was gonna have me check the second floor nurse station. Wherever that is. Ooh, I like how when you hit the pause button, the ghost starts popping up on screen. Gave me a bit of a scare a few moments ago. Anyways, let's get back to the game. Oh, you're kidding me. Why would that be on the wall of a hospital? Going on here? Back to my room. I don't know if I want to do that. I sort of want to solve the mystery. I ain't afraid no ghost. There's no one here. You can examine the various objects found in your environment. Objects that can be examined will glimmer when you shine your flashlight over them. Find the key to the Aso Museum. Alright, I see no glittering spot. Oh! If an object shines after you pass your light over it, you can reach out with your hand to examine it. Stand next to the object and a B icon will be displayed in the corner of the screen. Press and hold B to reach out your hand and examine the object. Stop reaching out for the object, let go of B. Oh god, they're gonna do that thing that they do in Maiden of Blackwater, aren't they? Oh no, 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 no. I hate this. Something is written on the paper. I've put the key to the museum on top of my desk. There are a lot of irreplaceable objects in the museum, so please take care to keep the door locked at all times. Anyways, for anyone who's played Maiden of Blackwater, they started incorporating this with when they made Fatal Frame, I believe Fatal Frame 2 for the Wii, and they incorporated this system right now that when you grab an object, you hold down, you know, the action button, the grab object button, whatever. This is the key for the room Misaki went to. Anyways, press X to open the menu screen. From here, you can view the map, use items, or view records of the information you've collected so far. You can also press the start button while playing to open the map screen directly. Okay. Alright, that's where I'm supposed to go. Either way, the original Fatal Frame 2 for the PlayStation 2, it got remade for the Wii, and when they remade it for the Wii, they start doing all sorts of weird stuff to it, you know, because Wii was the incorporation of the Wii remote, so people were wanting that sort of thing with, you know, the video games oriented for the Wii. So they made that gesture you just saw where you reach for the object and grab it. You have to hold the button down and the camera zooms in on your hand as you grab it. The reason they do that, and I kind of don't like it, but I kind of do at the same time, it's a little nerve-wracking, is that like a hand, like a ghost hand will pop out and grab you. And so like what you have to do is you have to time it correctly and pray to God the hand doesn't come out. And if it does, you let go of the button and you don't let it grab you. It's kind of cheesy, but they did that with the Wii version of Fatal Frame 2, and they've been doing it ever since, I guess. They can be a little nerve-wracking, I'll say that. That's music.
思い出せない。思い出したくない。早くここから出ないと。美咲を探さないと。
Yeah, Maiden of Blackwater, one of the things I really disliked about it was you did a lot of reading in that game. Like every other moment, it was having you leaf through a document and just have to read all of this. And I'm just like, I get it. Like, it's a ghost story. You want to read these scary things. I know. But a video game is a video game. God damn. Was that there before? Photos lie scattered on top of the cabinet and in the drawer. Photos have faded and are no longer recognizable. Right. Yeah, I kind of want to get out of that situation. Yeah, it's no longer fun, huh? Yeah. Fuck that. Fuck that. Dude, fuck that. Whoa, that was... Whoa.
Misaki?
Worn books line the shattered glass case. Ooh, the name Kunihiko Aso is written on it. Those with spiritual potential can see shadows, forms invisible to the average person. Souls of the dead, vestiges of thought left behind in a place. My camera obscura was created to capture these clues to the spirit world, and I now have a chance to improve its capabilities even further. In the course of my research, I have discovered that the materials used in mask making on Ragestu Island can improve the camera obscura's ability to capture those shadowy forms on film. I have also come to believe that the camera obscura holds a power greater than I ever expected. This is the power of the camera obscura to affect these shadows when photographing them. It is something like the exorcism that those with spiritual potential refer to. It is my experiments on this island that have brought me to this bold conviction. I have decided to donate a camera obscura to the owner of the hotel. I did not explain why I was donating it, but I cannot help but feel there will come a day when this island will need the power of the camera obscura. I only hope that I am wrong and that such a day will never come. All right. Must excuse me. My job, my actual job, somewhat requires me to be on call. You know, taking care of shit. It's like, you know, being the one in charge is people calling you, texting you when they have when they just don't know things. Yeah, they just don't know things. It's a little hair raising. But yes, I have to take a moment every now and then to check that when I hear my phone beep. Ah, camera obscura. This must be the camera obscura. The camera obscura is a special camera with the power to view and seal away the inconceivable. When a wraith appears, you can seal it away by taking photos of it with the camera obscura. Taking photos, press Y to take out the camera obscura. While holding the camera, press RT to take a photo. Locking on, press and hold LT while aiming. The camera at a ghost to lock on to the ghost and keep the camera aimed at it automatically. Alright. Whoa. Okay, this is scary. God damn, I love Fatal Frame. Oh. Typewriter. Unfortunately, this isn't Resident Evil. It's not a save point. Not a save point. Screwed. Yes. Yeah. Returning to this, I just installed a mod, just testing it out to see how it's going to affect the graphics.
存在しないことになるのだろうか。私には小さい頃の記憶がない。私がいた島のこと、住んでいた家のこと、そして父のことも。私たちが神隠しにあった以前のことは何も思い出せない。一緒に見つかった4人もあの時のことは覚えていない。かすかに思い出せるのは一つの旋律。
Interesting.
いつもここで途切れてしまう。音楽とともによみがえる記憶のかけら。この記憶はあれが老月と 人の友達が死んだ。マリエとトモエ。神隠しにあったうちの2人。まどかは美咲と島に行くと私に告げ、戻ってない。
あの島へは近寄らないで、ルカ。お母さん、知らない方がいいことがあるの。
でも私は確かめたい。あの時何があったのか、そして失った記憶の先に何があるのか。
Wow. Creepy. So, do they have no memory of disappearing or what? Really weird. Phase 1, the summoning. Ruka Minazuki. Okay, so the mod is definitely in effect. If you can't notice the difference. Wow. Looks beautiful. Ooh, I like. Press RB and X to start snap mode. If you find an interesting location, try taking a picture. Ooh, this is gorgeous looking. I remember a photo. I know this place somehow. Yeah, this is gorgeous looking. The mod though, for better or worse, it seems to make the ghosts lack any sense of transparency. So I'm going to just kind of feel my way around that one, see if I like it or not, and if it's too much of an issue, I'll just take the mod off. But honestly, I think they will just make the ghosts even more frightening. But this looks beautiful. This is a great mod. It removed the grain too, which definitely helps. You can save the game by pressing B in front of one of the yellow lanterns found in different locations throughout the game. Lanterns also allow you to manage photo albums, change options, and use points for trade items. Please note that the game can also be saved at the end of every chapter. The game will save automatically when you go near a glowing lantern. A message will appear on screen when the game is saving. To prevent your save data from corrupting, please do not turn the console off while the message is displayed. Now, if they could just make a mod that would put this into sort of like camera angles and stuff, that'd be perfect. Then it'd feel like a true traditional Fatal Frame game that, you know, existed way back in the day. But apparently it's a lot of work to make those types of mods. You know, like there is a mod for the Resident Evil 2 remake that gives it fixed camera angles. And it looks pretty cool, but they don't have one for Resident Evil 3 yet. It apparently takes a while to make these mods. I thought it'd be rather easy to set up these camera angles, but evidently it's not. It's time consuming. But I did see some projects of Resident Evil 3 with a fixed camera angle system. That's all grandfather clock. Instead of numerals, the face shows phases of the moon. And honestly, that game looks so much more vivid and detailed in the fixed camera angle scenario than the third person scenario. And I was just like orgasming in my head, just like a visual orgasm, like holy shit, dude, like I want this mod so fucking bad. You know, lo and behold, it's just like in an experimental phase. There is no mod that's released at this moment. And I was like, damn it, You know, I was sitting there picturing running from Nemesis and everything and all those camera angles. I mean, it really brings out Raccoon City, and that's why I'm like, dude, this needs to be modded and like right away. Because I feel that Resident Evil 2 taking place in the police station, like, it doesn't give you like a whole lot of things to be captivated with in the sort of visual aesthetic, whereas Resident Evil 3 does. It gives you the entire carnage of the city to oogle at and everything else, and then I think it'd make dealing with Nemesis actually scary, whereas I feel like he's more, I mean, he's kind of a nuisance in many ways in the remake. The folding gate blocks access to the landing. There's a note stuck between the bars. A scrap of paper with writing on it. It looks like Madoka's handwriting. A dull pain laid heavy in my heart ever since I laid eyes on Rochestu Island, looming ahead of us. Why does the mere sight of the island make it so difficult for me to breathe when I don't remember anything about the time I spent there? Misaki could be right. There might just be something there. When she suddenly told me she was going to Rochestu Island, I don't know, Rochestu, I followed her out of concern. Misaki was so determined to come here, it was frightening. She still won't tell me what it is all about. The island is getting closer now. Misaki is looking at it coldly, as though her gaze were only the thing pinning it to the horizon, the only thing keeping it from slipping away into the night. With Marie and Tomi already gone, I couldn't bear to lose Misaki as well. Yeah, that's one of her friends, isn't it? And like, they're coming back to this island after vanishing on it. Do they have like, I think they have amnesia or something. Yeah, something's going on with these girls. It is shut tight. There's nowhere to put a key. It must be opened remotely. You know, that's the thing where it's like, I really feel that more survival horror games should have a female lead for the most part, because you want to feel vulnerable. Like, I'm constantly saying this when it comes to survival horror games. Well, I thought I saw fucking... Something's down there. Holy shit. Oh, it's just her shadow. I was freaking out. Oh my god. But yeah, survival horror games, like when you're like a commando, like even Resident Evil, like Jill's still a commando, but I do kind of feel like something of a sense of vulnerability. But like, yeah, this is clearly like a frail woman, you know, and you know, like a game like an amnesia style game where you're playing as a female running from some sort of fucking monster. Really, I mean, that's like something that I think really heightens the sense of horror. Like, knowing that you can blast them away does not make the game scary. You can make it fun. Speaking of survival horror, Resident Evil and stuff, I guess we're going to be seeing Resident Evil 9, the reveal, pretty soon here. I guess this has been in the work for like 7 years. This is the one Resident Evil game that has been worked on for that long of a time. So it's gonna be crazy. They apparently have 5 Resident Evil games in the works right now. I don't know if I want 5, but jeepers, I just want to see 9, and please, a Code Veronica remake. But I imagine Code Veronica has to be in that mix. 5 Resident Evil games. If it's not in there, oh my god, forget Capcom, seriously. If they're gonna remake Resident Evil 5 and not Code Veronica, and this abundance of games that they're making, dude, they have just betrayed me. They've betrayed all of the older generational fans, and I'm just done. Give me Resident Evil 9 and I'm throwing in my hat, and we're just done with the series at that point. Okay, it's gone to me. It's been a great, wonderful run. Okay. Okay, this is where Asa Museum Madoka might be in this room. I don't know. The notebook has dust wiped from it. Someone must have picked it up recently. There was once a great disaster on this island which almost destroyed it and caused Rajestu Island to become feared as a place close to the underworld. However, it has recovered from that disaster and is no longer closed off to the people from outside Rajestu Island. As an outsider, I had anticipated resistance to my visitation. To my surprise, the chiefs welcomed me gladly to the island, seemingly in the hope that I would help introduce its native culture, such as the Karagu festival and traditional Rajestu engravings and craftsmanship, to the outside world. I came to Rajestu Island to look for materials for my camera obscura because the unique indigenous culture, the folklore of which is based upon the moon. In that folklore, the sun represents the outer form of things and the moon the inner. The moon, therefore, represents memory, personality, and the soul. Believing that the soul is still connected to the underworld after the body dies, they say the moon is a symbol of that world as well as a gateway into it. They have a Karagu festival where the souls of the dead return to this world, and the most important element of that festival is the masks worn by the participants. The masks worn by the maiden during the Karagu is the point of contact between the living world and the world of the dead, the underworld represented by the moon, a mask that connects to the underworld. There are many kinds of masks on this island, and I hope to greatly advance my paranormal research by investigating them all. Okay. I wonder who. Let's see. What are documents? What was that? Like who left that? Okay. Professor Osso? Yep. Professor Osso. There are some newspaper clippings of articles about the mass disappearance on the island. Islanders found dead. At approximately 4:30 p.m. yesterday, the captain of the Boromaru docked at Rajestu Island reported the deaths of multiple Rajestu Islanders. All of the bodies were found with their hands covering their faces, leading to the police to fear an unknown outbreak of some kind of infectious disease. No survivors found. The police plan to continue the search for those islanders whose whereabouts have yet to be determined while recovering the bodies. Despite everyone on the island being either missing or dead, there were no signs of conflict or foul play. Faced with nothing to go on but the sudden disappearance of the island's population and without any evidence of natural disaster, the police remain baffled by this bizarre incident. What do we have here? Professor Osso arrives. It's an old newspaper article about Professor Osso's visit to this building. It must be from the time this museum was established. Mainland scientist Professor Kuniko has also arrived on Rajestu Island. Professor, having a deep knowledge of folklore studies, wishes to study the legends and traditions of our island. He will also be present to observe the Rajestu Karaku to be held tomorrow. Hopefully this will lead to many more visitors coming to us from the mainland. It also has been announced that the room where the professor is staying at Rajestu Hall will be made into a museum in his honor. So he's a folklorist. Yeah, definitely gonna need that. An old camera. This must be Professor Osso's camera obscura. There's a note under the camera. It looks like Madoka's handwriting. Mizaki and I are making our way towards Rajestu Hall. The dizziness I felt on the way here has only gotten worse since we arrived on Rajestu Island. The air here is deathly still. It feels so hard to breathe. There's something about the smell of this place. I've had memories rekindled by certain smells and music before. Like when I heard the tune Ruka wrote, I remember things, but not so clearly. Sensations of textures, bursts of pain, vague things that can't be expressed in words, but this time it's different. I feel a dark mass rising up inside my body. It's going to penetrate my head. We should have waited for Ruka. Am. The filament shown at the top of the center of the screen indicates supernatural presence. It turns red in the presence of wraiths and yellow if the ghosts are specters. When other forces are present, it turns blue instead. Item filament. This item filament shown in the screen in the lower hand right corner of the blah blah. The item filament shown in the lower right hand corner of the screen glows blue when you are near an item or something that can be examined. Why won't it open? It's not even locked. The camera obscura seems to be reacting. Maybe if I take a photo of the door with it, you will see a hazy field appear on some objects and places in the game. Use the camera obscura to take a photo of this energy field, and things will appear in the photo that give you hints on how to progress through the story. Oh yeah, that's right. Something has appeared in the photo. It shows 5 masks hanging on a wall. Alright. I think that's everything in this room. With the camera obscura equipped, use the R right stick while holding left stick to quickly look around. Okay. Oh my god. Oh god. Where is she? Where is she? Gone. What was that? It looked like a nurse, but is this the power of the camera obscura? Well, I thought the ghosts weren't going to be transparent, but that was just the pictures I saw, so who knows? Check something real quick. Yep. All right. So that's the quick turn. Okay, so there's like those masks. There's like 5 of them. Ooh. Blue Spirit Stone. Blue Spirit Stones can be used to upgrade the basic abilities of your camera obscura or Spirit Stone flashlight. Select Camera Obscura or Spirit Stone flashlight from the menu screen, the enhancements, and choose the ability you want to update. Okay, I see. Well, I only got one, so just gonna wait on that. Something there? Found a pamphlet. The Rajestu Kagura is by far the most important traditional festival on Rajestu Island. It is held once every 10 years. The highlight of the festival is the Kagura itself, taking place in the temple of the Lunar Eclipse. A maiden known as the Vessel and 5 girls known as Organs perform a sacred dance. Why not use the Kagura as a chance to visit Rajestu Island and experience rich history? Alright, use the item screen to restore your health meter. Alright, no keys, nothing. Yes, and everything is still locked. Looks like Slipknot or something. It's Slipknot. You kids and your dang Slipknot. The space under the stairs is set apart with screens depicting a moon shrouded in clouds. You dang fatal frame and your locked doors. You dang ghosts and your locked doors. Boy running away. Hey, you better run, kid. I'm really good with this camera. You might come across specters during your exploration. If you succeed in taking a picture of them, they'll be added to the ghost list. You'll also be able to trade any photo points you obtain for items at save points. Ooh, cool. Alright, yeah, I already looked at that. The notice board is covered in old photos. The photos have faded and no longer recognizable. You know, I don't know if anyone has played this series, but what the hell is it called? It's an Indonesian game that's basically like Fatal Frame. And I tried it out, but it's like, it's so indie, you know, like we're such like a zero budget like development team, but people say it's like really good, but like I just could not get into it. What is the name of that game, by the way? I'm just gonna look real quick. Oh yeah, Dread Out. I really tried to get into it, but it was just so weird, and you know, like the budget behind it was like minuscule, if anything. It's probably like 3 guys got together and made it in their basement. But it's apparently it's something of a cult classic to people. So I do want to give it a shot, but like I remember playing within the first hour of the game, like I think there was like a bug or something where like you literally walk through a wall and you have to walk through a wall. Like that's part of the puzzle, and it just felt really low effort to me, so I didn't exactly seem to feel inclined to play it any further. But I mean, I have the first one and I have the second one. I think what I'll do is I'll probably try the second one first and see if I can make it through that, because the second one is it's a little bit more up to snuff with contemporary standards, and it looks like it's pieced together by, you know, more than 3 people this time. But yeah, people say that this is a really good series, and it pretty much feels, from the looks of it, it feels like Fatal Frame. You are taking pictures of ghosts. It's like the same concept, except you're using your phone. obviously a knockoff of Fatal Frame. Not too big of a deal because I hear the Indonesian horror is supposed to be the thing that like makes this game like really good and stand out from everything else. Yeah, and I love foreign horror of, you know, like American horror is just, Western horror is so dried out at this point. Here. It's a small key with an engraved wooden tablet attached. Okay. There's a plaque with something written on it underneath the key. Procedure for opening second floor entrance hall gate. Activate the switch on the panel in the storeroom under the entrance hall stairs. Ensure the numbers total up to 13. The gate must not be opened without permission from the nurse station. Bitch, I don't need permission. Think I need permission? I don't need permission. Oh, I got 5. Okay. I can sacrifice 5. Increases maximum number of stored spirit points. Oh. What do spirit points do? Or I can increase spirit points received from taking photos. Improves camera charging time. Increases damage dealt to ghosts. That's a tough call. I really would just like to do more damage. Yeah, I want to change the charging time, if anything, now that I think about it. Film loading time, that's just like reloading. You know, if you're shooting a gun in a video game, that's essentially what it is. It's the reloading process. So I'm gonna aim for sensitivity. So no, I'm not going to waste I mean, unless it's obnoxiously slow. Like it's reloading a revolver and it's like 1 bullet at a time, then yeah, I might change that. Don't grab me. Ooh, got the blast lens. Lenses can be equipped on the camera obscure or spirit stone flashlight and have a variety of effects on ghosts. Select camera obscure or spirit stone flashlight from the menu screen, then lenses to equip different lenses. During battle, you can press X to use your upgraded lens. If you have enough spirit points shown in the lower left-hand corner of the screen, you can change currently equipped items with the arrow keys. So I have a spirit flashlight too. Did I just realize that? Interesting. Well, it doesn't show me anything. Takes a more powerful shot when used. Yeah, I'll equip that. Maybe I didn't pick up the spirit flashlight yet. Yeah, this looks, I guess that's just an ordinary flashlight, but that's cool. tell me you get to use the flashlight as a weapon too. That's fucking bad. No, that's bad as fuck. Fully restores your health meter when it runs out. The item will then disappear. I mean, for a Fatal Frame game to kind of give you like more to work with, yes, I want that, for the love of God. You know, like instead of just having to use the camera all the time, can like the flashlight like stun them or something? Yeah, and this game is, you know, this is the Tecmo. I don't know, they really need to return to this series and kind of go back to its roots, because like right now horror is dead in the water with everything turning into walk-in simulators. And I've said this in multiple videos before, I believe in the walk-in simulator. The walk-in simulator is great, but it's not like something you play and by yourself. The walk-in simulator is something you play with friends, or it's something you stream. Remember why PewDiePie got big? It was because he was playing Amnesia, essentially a walking simulator where you run from a monster. So walking simulators are good for a player and an audience. They serve that purpose, and I think they should continue to be made for that purpose, because people enjoy watching people scream. They find it funny, or they find the game scary themselves and they don't want to play it. So like I said, I kind of have an issue with walking simulators though, because objectively speaking, like I remember in the past I was playing walking simulators when they're first coming out, and I was like, these are cool at first, but then like after the third time, like this is lame. But it took me a number of years to realize that the purpose for them, what you can definitely use them for, is for streaming, or if you have friends around you. It's a game, because like the very first time I played PT, I had no idea it was a Silent Hill game. I played through it and I was like, that was cool. And then my brother and his friend were over one night, and they were just playing around with the PlayStation. He's like, what's PT? I'm like, that's Silent Hill 2. Or Silent Hills, I mean. And he's like, oh, let's load it up. So we loaded it up. And my brother's, you know, he's a semi-fan of horror. Not nearly as big as I am. His friend hated horror. However, when we start playing the game, they've really got enticed by it, you know, whereas when I played it alone, it was just like, you know, yeah, this is okay, I guess. It is scary, but like once you have a group of people watching you, then it becomes something. So that's like the purpose of walking simulators from my perspective. They're not standalone play by yourself games. I mean, you can, but I think it's better to stream them. Honestly, every time I have a walk-in simulator, I stream it. I don't play them by myself anymore. I think they're a waste of time to play by yourself. Absolutely a waste of time. But they have a great purpose in the sense of creating something for an audience. Because that's how PewDiePie got famous. If PewDiePie was playing any other game than a horror-oriented walking sim, he wouldn't have become huge, and streaming wouldn't have became a thing. He's the one who made streaming. He's the one who put it on the market. Okay, he didn't literally make it, but he's the one who put it on the market. And if he had been playing like Street Fighter, Final Fantasy, Metal Gear Solid, if he had been playing any of those games, he would not have blown up the way he did. What made him blow up was the fact that he got out there, and yeah, he's this handsome guy, and so people are kind of naturally attracted to that. Guys and girls, I mean, and all sorts of different people. He's charismatic, he's funny, he's goofy, he's foreign. Not everywhere he's foreign, but to us he's foreign. He's like Swedish or something. It's the fact that he's getting out there, recording himself, screaming, swearing, you know, almost on the verge of tears, and people fucking eat it up. They just eat it up, and that's why I like playing walking sims. Because I want people to see me scream. I do. I mean, it's part of it. So what I am saying, to return to my point, is the future of horror games at this field we are now standing in lies in the hands of Resident Evil, because they are going to set the standard with wherever the Resident Evil series goes. They're going to set the standard for horror games, and then other companies are going to follow suit. When PT released, that was Konami setting the standard for horror games. So what happens next? You get Resident Evil 7, but they incorporate gunplay into it and things like that. So PT originally set the standard for horror games within the year of, like, you know, the 2015 to 2020s, and now we're getting at a point to where it's like we need another game or example to go out there and set the standard for horror games. And I believe all of this lies within Capcom. This all lies in the hands of probably Resident Evil 9. I think that's where this all lies right now. You know, and is Capcom going to repeat the same formula with 7 and 8? Are they going to repeat the same formula with 2 and 3 remake? Who knows? But I think for sure, without the shred of a doubt, Capcom is going to set the new standard for horror games, and that's why I'm concerned about Resident Evil 9. I hope it's good, and I hope it tries something new so we can get a new standard for horror games and go beyond the walking sim. Like I said, I think walking sims serve a purpose for streaming only, especially story-driven, narrative-styled games. Those are great for streaming, in my honest opinion. Those are beautiful for streaming because some people want to see a story unfold, but not have to play the game. So I think Capcom is going to set the next standard for how horror games are going to be approached and made for like the next 10 years. Unless they repeat the same formula, which I'm kind of dreading, because if they do, then guess what? It's just going to be walking sim after walking sim after walking sim. People need to register this. Honestly, survival horror fans need to register this, because games like the Callisto Protocol, games like Dead Space Remake, these were not big enough to catch the eye of other developers and be like, hey, we have to make games this way. This is how we have to do it. Even though Callisto Protocol and Dead Space were following after the footsteps of Resident Evil 4. So what I think is going to happen is Capcom's going to probably either try the Resident Evil 4 formula or something new. I think what they're going to do, and I'm a little bit skeptical towards this opinion of mine, I think they're going to try again the first person perspective, but they're going to put something in there that they didn't last time. And if they try the third person's perspective, Resident Evil styled gameplay again, dude, you got to do something different this time around. You really do. So other companies see it and follow suit, because that's what happened with PT. They saw it and they followed suit and started making walking sims, and now we're at a point where it's just like the market has been dried out because of walking sims, and the most we can do is have another game set the standard. And the only juggernaut big enough to do that is Capcom. Team Blooper's not going to do it with Silent Hill. So in my honest opinion, for AAA developers, the future of horror in the mainstream sense for video games lies within the hands of Capcom and Resident Evil 9. Because that's where we're in 2024. We've got a new election coming up soon, new president, new change of government, perhaps new change of the way we fucking do things. So there's going to be changes all across the board, and I don't care about any of that stuff. I'm just saying, when it comes to the future of survival horror, the standard is going to be set by Resident Evil 9. It's going to be set by Capcom, and from that point on, we're going to have the new trend of survival horror games, and this is how we're going to work with them. So I hope Capcom has been working on something, which they have been for the last 7 years. So I've got a lot of hope stored into this. I don't think they're going to fuck it up, but I definitely want them to do something new. Now, if they do something stupid, which is going to make me hate them, and I'm only saying this because I know VR is on the market, if they do something with VR, we're just going to have to fucking forget about everything and return to the goddamn walking sims, because that's all we're gonna have left, because VR related material is just going to continue to create a style of games that is already VR oriented. Walking sims, first person view. It is basically VR but with a controller. So I hope that they don't incorporate any virtual reality element to it. Somehow I feel that there's a small, but actually not so small chance that could happen. We're going to pray not, though. Anyways, let's get into that subject, because Tecmo needs to go back to working on Fatal Frame, because like I said, Team Bloopers, I don't think Team Bloopers gonna pull it off with Silent Hill 2. I just don't. I know a lot of people are at a point where they're like, hey, Team Bloopers listening to us, and they certainly are. By the sounds of it, they are. But the more I look at pictures and videos of Silent Hill 2 and that part where he's walking through the corridor, I'm not trying to sound negative, but it's like you reap what you sow. Man, Silent Hill has never been that blatant about things. Silent Hill has always been vague and mysterious, okay? There was a hole here. It's gone now. Okay. You know, what's that mean? You don't know. And that's kind of the idea where I'm going with this, where it's just like plainly telling you things. So next thing you know, he walks down into a new room, and a speaker comes on, you know, from an intercom, and it's like, James, you murdered your wife. Like literally, like it's going to, I think it's going to blow the lid on the storyline. And I think more than anything, it's going to be a walking sim in the third person perspective with a little bit of gunplay and violence to compensate for all the boring parts. I don't have a whole lot of faith in it. I think it'll be milquetoast and mediocre at best. Maybe a little bit more enjoyable than their previous games, but it's not going to save Silent Hill. I think Silent Hill is dead in the water. I think it's done and over with. I wish we could do something about it, but we can't. What I can say, though, is that Fatal Frame, if Fatal Frame made a comeback, which it hasn't, Fatal Frame has just continues to, they continue to create the series, to create the franchise, and they've been loyal about it. That's one thing you can say about Tecmo and Fatal Frame. They haven't been like these other companies where they stab their fans in the back or do something they don't like. They've been pretty much loyal to Fatal Frame. You know, they've never really pissed off the fans or anything, you know, but they haven't been pumping out the game changers that I think people want, and they haven't been pumping out the games that just like restart the series like the Frankenstein monster. They put out these games that are just, you know, loyal contributions to the fans, but not enough to restart the series and create another juggernaut of survival horror. And I wish they would do that. You know, I wish they would just drop another Fatal Frame title. Don't focus on putting it on the Wii or any weird VR things or any fancy things Nintendo does. Just drop the next Fatal Frame game. Be like, dude, we're changing this. We're making it fucking scarier than the last time. We're going back to our roots and just making it more like Fatal Frame 2 and Fatal Frame 1. And we're focusing on, you know, maybe this sort of new element to it. And then, boom, we've got another massive juggernaut of survival horror resurrected from the dead. And that would start setting standards for other survival horror games, because if the AAA guys don't pull this off, it's just gonna be the indie guys, you know, like Puppet Combo. Like these are the only guys that are gonna be making survival horror games that we want, you know, and they're going to be, of course, very reasonably priced, but short and sweet. You know, it's not gonna be those games that you spend a year or two waiting for and saving your pennies for, and everyone's talking about it and it's becoming this huge deal. I mean, yeah, you can do that with like these independent guys like Puppet Combo. You certainly can. There's games from him that I've been waiting on, certainly, but it's not the same effect that you get from a AAA developer, where it's just like you spend years almost and there's, you know, people behind you, mobs of people, like legions of people who are there with you, wanting this goddamn game, wanting it to drop, wanting it to be this way. Expectations are all over the place. There's journalists out there, whether they're legitimate ones or just paid off people, sons of bitches who just say whatever the money leads to. Yeah, you just, and the AAA developers, they can always bring new tech into it and do something fucking crazy. So I wish Tecmo would, you know, and like I said, Tecmo has been very loyal to the Fatal Frame fans, to the series, but it hasn't been like hitting like home runs, is what I'm saying. And when they could be hitting a home run with this series and do something crazy with it. And they might as well, because of the dire state that the survival horror market is in. We're at a very volatile stage where it could either have like a chemical reaction or remain stagnant with all of these walking sims. And the only guys keeping it afloat are the little time indie developers. We'll see. Okay. I need to write something. Doesn't matter what. Got to keep writing or I'll disappear. If I stop writing, I lose it all. Got to keep writing. It's no good. I don't know it's all over. It's getting closer. Melting. Mom, help me. Help. Stop it. Stop it, all of you. Stop shaking me like I'm a toy. Ooh. Another series that could rejuvenate survival horror if they picked it up. Capcom, I believe, has the rights to it, or maybe not, is the Clock Tower series, for the love of God. Please, someone remake the original Clock Tower. That would jumpstart everything. Everything you ever wanted survival horror to be or do if you remade the original Clock Tower. Ooh. The one for the Super Famicom or Super Nintendo, whatever you want to call it, if you remade that, dude, I think it's a very choice matter to make that decision to remake the original Clock Tower. Do you know why? Because no one knows about it. Especially when it was only released in Japan. That's how you bring awareness to it. And a remake of the original Clock Tower would be scary as hell. People would fucking love it. And I don't know why no one has even really thought about it. I mean, there was one guy. He is the developer of the Remothered series. He was originally remaking Clock Tower through RPG Maker of all platforms, but he was doing a really good job with it. And he eventually got noticed and got picked up by a AAA company, and then he just scrapped it and he started working on the Remothered series, which is, I mean, I never played any of them, but I can tell you it's like, it's just not like the type of game that I really would invest a whole lot of time into. It doesn't seem scary. He had an idea going with the Clock Tower remake that he was doing, but I think, you know, he got in the pockets of these developers, and they start shooting these ideas at him and start saying, okay, now you got to go with it. You know, now you got to make our game, and this is how we want it. So yeah, seriously, again, I've said this multiple times too. It's money for the Dinah Hall. Handwriting on the old sign is hardly legible. You know, like, I have this hard on for wanting Square Enix to pick up games and remake them. You know, to pick up other series. I just think Square Enix would always put a unique blend on things. Again, like I've said this of the Alice series. I've said this even with Silent Hill. If Square Enix remade Silent Hill, and again, I'm gonna say it with Clock Tower, these would be just the most obscure and bizarre contributions that I think people would love. You know, I think people would fucking love it. And you know, if they remade Clock Tower or even the original Silent Hill, you know, they would add some sort of RPG element to it that would make outsiders more invested in it. You know, like, you know, people who typically don't play survival horror games and they play RPGs and stuff like that. All signed with mask, like the ones that appeared in the photo. Wait, is one of the masks missing? No. What I'm saying is it would bring outsiders into these games. Like Capcom did something different with Resident Evil 8, and my brother went out and bought it, and my brother's an RPG guy. He's a Metal Gear Solid guy. He's never really been into Resident Evil, but he went out and bought Resident Evil 8 because it did something that drew him in. I'm sure it did that with plenty of other gamers out there. But here's the thing I do know that Capcom is doing with Resident Evil 9, which has me a little concerned, is I think this is just a leak too, but they're apparently making it open world. And keep in mind, Resident Evil 8 was pseudo quasi open world. It was. It just didn't have the biggest map. But they did it right. I really liked the idea behind Resident Evil 8, and that was one of the reasons why I liked it so much, because it was open world. Now if they do that again and they implement it the same way as last time, then I think they're going in the right direction. But one thing I'm hearing about video games and why video games in general are not having a good enough market anymore is because developers keep making open world games and people don't have the time to invest in them. That is part of the problem. You know, red spirit stones can be used to increase the power of the lenses. Select camera obscure or spirit stone flashlight from the menu screen, then enhancements, and choose the lens you want to upgrade. Yeah, it's becoming an issue for gamers. And it's becoming an issue for developers, is because the time you have to put into an open world game. Like, listen, the problem with it is, like, an open world game is trying to simulate the real world, is trying to simulate life, but you have to live your own life, you know, keep that in mind. So it's like, no, not every game needs to be open world. You can have so much more out of a game without it being open world. It's just straightforward standalone game, and it literally is part of the problem. Part of the reason I don't play a lot of games out there is because they're open world. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like what's that one, Starfield, or that one that Bethesda recently made? Yeah, I won't play it because it's open world. And there's so many games out there that I just won't play because they're too time consuming with this open world shit. But basically, yeah, I turn down a lot of games because they're open world and I simply don't have the time for them. And that's how I think a lot of other gamers feel as well. You ain't got the time for that shit. Unless it's like open world done right. And I think Resident Evil 8 did open world and they did it right. They did it right. So I hope they do the same with 9. If you're going to do it right, please. Okay. But I know I went on forever, so enough of that. Mummy. Ooh. Oh. No ghost hand, please no. Okay. It's a clipping of a newspaper article about the mass disappearances on the island. Regestu investigation stalls. 2 weeks into the investigation, there is still no sign of missing Regestu Islanders. Investigators have expressed fears that the case will be closed on this mass disappearance incident due to a complete lack of leads to follow. Many bodies were found with their hands covering their faces, expressions blank blank blank, leading investigators to suspect a connection between the appearance of these bodies and their cause of death. While that cause is yet to be determined, the possibility of an outbreak of infectious disease has apparently been ruled out. Okay, so what do we got? 2 weeks in the missing people. So people are ending up missing, and they're being found with their hands covering their faces. And yeah, the possibility of it being an infection has been ruled out, so something wrapped up in a sheet is propped up against the wall. The outline looks human in shape. It must be a mannequin. Yep. Even Square Enix. Square Enix could do something with the Fatal Frame series. They would do a beautiful job with Fatal Frame. I know they would. They would do an immaculate job remaking or making a new Fatal Frame game. Immaculate job. They would add, of course, they would add like the most intricate RPG element system to it possible. You know, if the camera is Skira and all this other crap, you'd be casting spells and stuff, and yeah, you would have spells. You would have spells. Okay. It's got to equal 13. Panel has several numbered switches on it. Oh my god. That down. Okay, so I click it, it adds 9. Right? Turns to 9. There we go. That's something the Fatal Frame series kind of could use, is like a system of magic. Like you're casting spells and stuff. It's not strictly the camera. That would make this game so much more awesome if you incorporated that. And I think it. Jesus. I guess that's the cue for me to shut the hell up. Okay, wow. Yeah, this one is definitely scarier than Maiden of Blackwater. I'm surprised that this one, I didn't think that, you know, like, I thought that they just forgot about Fatal Frame, you know, and they kind of have, you know, like Tecmo kind of has. People have forgot about Fatal Frame. Yeah, we need to go back to Fatal Frame. It'd be like going back to the moon. Come on, guys, we need to go back to Fatal Frame. Okay. Curtains part to reveal the room's interior, but it's too dark to make anything out clearly. Shit. All good. Yeah, so many games that really need to, like, what's the deal with like Parasite Eve not being a thing anymore? Like, what is going on? You know, like, what happened to, like, even Fear Effect? You know, they were remaking that game for a hot minute. I don't know if they still are, but like, damn, dude. Seriously, what's going on with developers? Why have we forgotten about these things? Ah, you. I wish I would have done that. That's how you turn around. Fucking A, god damn it. Several pieces of paper have been posted on the notice board. The letters are smudged, making the writing unclear and difficult to read. Rusted newspaper rack containing several ancient-looking newspapers. The paper crumbles to the touch, and the print is too faded to read. Note from Madoka. It's a piece of paper with Madoka's handwriting on it. Don't look at the face. If you look at the face, you lose it all. Can't see my face. Can't see my face. Just like the other two. Damn it, tonight. Stop it. Use on the item screen to fully restore your health meter. The broken door obstructs the entrance to the room, which is completely disarray. The room is full of all kinds of strange things taken from around the building. Interesting.
Greetings, peons. Dr. Notmere here, taking over from Mr. Astrocatical for the remainder of this episode. Now, where are we and what has he got us into? Let's see here, we got a sparkling little object over here. With our examination. Found an old tape. Found a tape recorder. Interesting. Let's see. Tapes. Patient interview Akimo Kiriyara.
テープ回りました。どうですか、気分の方は。
かりません。気がつくと廊下にいて、月が見えて、月を見ると少し落ち着くんです。
いつからですか？
前の祭りの後からです。祭りが終わってもまだあの感覚が続いているような。
それはどういう？
どんどん自分が溶けてなくなって、何か忘れてはならないことがあったのに、何かを忘れたことも思い出せなくなっているような気がするんです。
そうか。まずこの薬を
Take your
安
medicine.
心してください。必ず解放に向かいます。
あの音楽は何です？あの音楽を聴くたびにまた、やめてください。やめて。
わかりました。あなたには特別な治療をしましょう。院長、院長、連れて行け。あ、はい。
Sounds like how I would approach a issue with one of my patients. Alright. Ooh, you've got spooky cobwebs, spooky little dolls, spooky masks, and spooky clocks. One blue spear stone. I got 7 spear stones. Type 14 film. Different film types have different levels of effectiveness. The more powerful the film, the more damage ghosts take when having their photo taken. Select Camera Obscura from the menu screen, then film to select different types of film. You can also do this during gameplay with the arrow keys while in photo mode. There's a diary here covered in doodles. April 6th, rainy day. I found another thing to keep for myself today. It's a mask from the dinner hall. They always take me away when I'm not looking. They know I don't like it. I have to get the pieces back again. I put the mask I found today under the bed so no one can find it. No one will take it from me this time. If they do, yeah. Interesting. When a wraith attacks, you have a chance of capturing a fatal frame. If you time it correctly, you'll take a fatal frame which grants bonus effects. Fatal frames stun the enemy and inflict huge amounts of damage. While the enemy is stunned, you can string together multiple fatal frames into a combo. If you equip the alarm upgrade, the fatal frame icon at the top of the screen will start flashing to let you know when to snap the picture. child's diary. This isn't right. Someone took it. If I don't hurry, I'll start disappearing. Who did it? Give it back. Give it back. Give it back. Disappearing. Give it back. Ah, the mask. Finally. Now it is ours. Let's see. Just a few little technical difficulties here for little Dr. Notsmere. That's a bit too hard. You must forgive me. Sound is everything in the world of online shenanigans. And so is comfort. I think that will do. Now that we got the mask, we can hit the road. I thought that was one of the specters. It's like, oh, I can get a free photograph here. And then she started coming at me. Yes, this is the way I believe Mr. Astrocatical came. Yes. So, the room is downstairs, that the mask, where the mask belongs. Ah, yes, he never did use one of these save points, did he? Well, I mean, he didn't use any of the spirit points he earned. Yes, trade. He didn't use any of those, the fool. Now let's see, what have we built up? Ah. These are very pricey. What does that do? At 14 film. 5 of those, so I can get one of these. Yeah, one of these. So let's get another one. Ah. Take a quick commercial break. Now that we have the mask, I assume we can do something with it, correct? Now let's see. I think that's how Mr. Extracatical wants to do this Fatal Frame series, is he will play the majority of each episode, and your good old friend Dr. Notmere here will be finishing it off for you. Eastern horror is not my thing. I am a Western Damon, so you've got to keep that in mind. I prefer the demonic influences of Western culture, writers, that sort of thing. Little Goody Two Shoes is just something that you get to enjoy with good old Dr. Notmere, even though that's more of a Eastern influence. But yes, Mr. Extracatical is a big fan of the Fatal Frame series. Sure, you heard him, as I did, bloviating about how much he wants it remade by Square Enix and silly things like that, which will never happen in a million years. He's always living in some sort of hyper-fantastical fever dream involving video games that's completely not real at all and will never happen ever. Oh, maybe they can remake, maybe Square Enix can remake Clock Tower. Haha, wouldn't that be cool if Square Enix remade Clock Tower? He literally says that with every game. Oh, Square Enix could remake Silent Hill. Ha ha ha. Oh, Square Enix could remake this. Square Enix could remake that. Listen, Square Enix is not remaking any games anytime soon. Shut up. Just shut up. The only thing I agree with in his entire diatribe is bringing back Parasite Eve. That is the only thing. Everything else is just a fever dream. Get off the fever dream train. Just go. Leave. Stay away from it. It's not happening. You are delusional. But I do have to say that Resident Evil 9 release has a lot of people, such as demonic forces, such as myself, dreading the effect of Resident Evil 9 and what it will do to survival horror. Or he is more optimistic about it. I am not. Okay, so where was that room with the mask? It wasn't on the 7th floor. I can't switch floors, can I? Save point, save point. Ah, it's down there. Believe me, I want Resident Evil to do a good thing. But do I think it will happen? I am not so sure. The idea of an open world setting is a very stimulating thought indeed. But is it realistic? I don't think so. I do not think so. It does not translate well into survival horror. But 7 years in development is promising. But remember, Cyberpunk was in about 7 years of development, and when it launched, it was a broken game. However, Cyberpunk trudged through all of it and remained to be, something of a juggernaut itself, albeit one that was fairly controversial at first. Alright, so we got the mask. Okay, so this door is not going to open. Okay, so I have to find the room. It's not in here, is it? No, it's not. There is a room where the masks are on display. What's one of those masks up? Damn. Yeah. Well, it's in the Aso Museum. This is the Aso Museum, I believe. As I can recall, The Evil Within 2 was somewhat of a open world game, was it not? You were roaming around in this sort of fantastical nightmare city. You had side quests of a nature, and it worked. People enjoyed it. But is it realistic? in any sense of the word. I'm not sure. There was something about the Evil Within 2 that felt off. But alas, Resident Evil 8 was something of an open world game, so keep that in mind. And it was one of the most dreadfully enjoyable installments within the series of Resident Evil. If not one of the better ones. It outstanded Resident Evil 6. It was better than Resident Evil 5. Oh, it may have even been better than Resident Evil 7. And trust me, it's had more character to it than Resident Evil 4. Okay, so where... I believe we are in the museum, are we not? Or just to Hall? Okay, maybe not. Just a moment here. Mr. Astrocatical's phone is beeping and he wants me to check it for him. Everything appears ordinary. But I do agree with him 100%. Bring back Parasite Eve. What are you thinking? Why have you not brought that game back yet? Bring back Parasite Eve. To Hall corridor. That is the museum. Okay, never mind. Okay. Honestly, I think it's this way. And I do concur. Tower would make a great remake if I had a thing for Scissor Man. If I had a thing for Jennifer Conway clones. If I had a thing for playing as a 15-year-old girl running from a little boy with a giant pair of scissors. I agree. And that sort of bizarre, childlike world of the macabre, yeah, sure, it would make a wonderful remake. But we all know that he would have a complete mental orgasm if that were to happen. Oh, I get to run away from a deformed child chasing me with scissors. I'm so excited. So excited. Yes, but I'm sure many other fans would enjoy that as well. Very weird, but I mean, who wants to be a 15-year-old girl running from Quasimodo, young Quasimodo, with a giant pair of shears that can cut your head off? Who wants to do that? Oh, Mr. Astrocatical, of course. I mean, he is a weird guy that wears women's clothes from time to time. I don't put it past him that he sometimes imagines a demonic man-child chasing him and cutting his head off. I don't put that past him. He's very weird. Ah, yes, indeed. Mr. Astrocalypse would have been able to figure this one out. This one took the old noodle for Dr. Knot. Indeed. The seal on the door in the museum has been broken. Yes. He really does say some absurd things. Some really absurd statements. Silent Hill. The original Silent Hill remade by Square Enix. That is obscene. I don't know why you would want to play as Harry Mason and then all of a sudden the screen goes wow, and it becomes a turn-based battle with a dog and a flying pterodactyl and a little demon monster with a knife, and you take turns hitting each other and you cast spells at each other. I don't know why he would want that. I don't know why anyone would want that. Square Enix. You fool. You fool. Silent Hill is a Konami game. Why? It is not a Square Enix game. It is not a Capcom game. It is a Konami game. Metal Gear Solid creators. You know who Konami is, clearly, right? Square Enix. Oh. All right. Who's crying? Not on my watch. It's open. Bookshelf is well stocked. Music in the brain, Aldondic healing a reality. Before I waste any film. Say cheese. Nice little dollhouse they have up there. Anyways. before I do anything. Must take great heed. Surprised they didn't incorporate some sort of perfect scare with that. Some sort of Easter egg, you point the camera and you suddenly see a ghost behind you. I thought they would do that for sure. Anyways, another thing I agree with on Astrocapital is yes, we need to return to Fatal Frame and we need to jumpstart this baby, for sure. I agree 100%. Controls make the game all the more confident. She is one tough cookie. It's real. Yes, as a Fatal Frame game, this is one of the better ones.
次は私たちの番だから。
Twins?
隠しにあった5人が順番にやめてよ。ここにきっと何かあるはず。
nice thing about Fatal Frame is you always play as hot J-girls. That is always a guarantee. Hot J-girls.
忘れたの忘れたの
Well, it's the way video games are going. They'll start making those girls look like me.
ここは
Could you imagine that if they made more female characters look like me so they could appeal to people like me? So they could appeal to demonic forces such as myself. I am the only demonic force out there that plays video games. Trust me, you are not relating to me anytime soon. This is the camera I brought with me. What's it doing lying on the ground? This is mine too. A book with notes about the camera. I entrust this prototype camera obscura to the descendants of the Aso family as proof of the validity for my research. It was with this camera obscura that I first successfully captured a powerful spiritual force on film. It proved that my theories were correct, and it represents the first step I took on my unpredescended journey. I have yet to put this to the test, but it should be theoretically possible to capture the forms of the deceased on film. However, the camera obscura has a strong effect on priests, mediums, and others who are able to sense the inconceivable. Hence, I forbid its indiscriminate use.
私の家にあった過去を映すカメラ。これでなくした記憶の手がかりがつかめるはず。まどかはどこ？
Yes, hot J girls indeed. I can hear a noise coming from somewhere. Wait. Looks like there's some blood on the floor. Damn, I still only have 7. So it's not coming from that way. Let's see if it's coming from upstairs. Yes, indeed, it sounds like it's coming from up here. There's no logbook here. The children have been playing tricks again, opening and closing the door to the second floor ward. I change the door code regularly, but they seem to find out the new code every time I do. Apparently the code game is a new favorite way to play. They write the code for the door somewhere and give each other clues about where to find it. I scolded them quite severely about this, and some tears were shed, but the director has told us to be vigilant about the door. The patients might wander the building if that door is left open, so please warn the children about playing with the door. If you see numbers written anywhere, be sure to clean them off. We don't want to repeat of last time. Oh, very nice. Equipment upgrades can be equipped on your camera upscale or spirit stone flashlights, providing various different effects. These upgrades are equipped automatically when you get them. Select camera upscale or spirit stone flashlight from the menu screen, then equip upgrades to activate or deactivate specific upgrades. Please note that the alarm and delay upgrades are not available for spirit stone flashlight. Nurses' uniforms and other items are scattered inside the display case. Indeed. Right. New Building 2F statue status end of July. Room 203 Sacred Moon. Isukumori Madoka. Notes: an introverted child, Madoka seems to be bullied by other children her age. If you come across any children bothering her, please discipline them. Room 204 Shadow Moon. Notes: due to the recent death of Tomoko Himina, patients were moved out of the old building, but Lori locked her door and wouldn't come out. She broke off the doorknob, so staff wishing to enter her room will need to apply force to the door. Room 205 Rainy Moon. Sanohara Yukiro. Notes: shows no reaction to mirrors, so she doesn't appear to have put it, but in conjunction with the worsening of her memory loss, Yokiro's mood and behavior are extremely unstable. She requires careful observation. Room 206 Wizen Moon Amakia Kazuto. Notes: his kleptomania is getting worse and he does not respond to warnings. Please report any thefts on discovery. He gets angry when the items are taken to be returned to the owner, so please try to take them without noticing. 207 Orchard Moon Ayako. Notes: intensely aggressive personality, has propensity to take pleasure in hurting others, displaying no signs of guilt. Causes of problem with her cruel pranks. I myself had an ear cut by Aoko. Extreme caution required. Alright, I guess the sound is coming from somewhere else. Oh, it's coming from this room. That's Madoka's voice. It's a nurse call from room 203. And Madoka is there. Looks like I have to enter a combination. Alright. Well, we'll see about this. Alright, boys and girls. I wonder what the deal is with this. I did look at the journal entry. It did state some sort of way of figuring this out. So we're going to take a second look at that. I believe it said the children play the number game, and they have been hiding the code within the confines of the hospital, so we have to search for it. It's probably randomly located at this. So we're going to dive right into it and search. We're going to play the number game. Let's just take a second glance at the files. Let's see here. nurse's memo. Okay. Okay, they write the code for the door somewhere and give each other clues where to find it. Numbers written anywhere. I really do appreciate how the developers highlight the parts that you need to read, making this short and sweet for solving puzzles. That can get rather tedious. Alright. I could have swore earlier in the game I did see a number somewhere. Spooky. Yes. Spooky indeed. So yes, indeed, Resident Evil 9 Apocalypse is among a litany of Resident Evil games that is in development, as Mr. Astrocatically stated earlier. It's supposed to release next year in 2025, so it's not a bad time for the game to release. And our hope here at the Astrocastrophe is that it drops at the right time in the right place. Because the future of survival horror depends on it. So, if Capcom could make some sort of groundbreaking changes, see any numbers around here, do let me know. Picture of a clock. Indeed. Again, and I agree with him wholeheartedly on Fatal Frame making a comeback and becoming one with the top 3 titles, or, you know, top 3 franchises of survival horror. Resident Evil, Silent Hill. It used to be that way. Resident Evil, Silent Hill, and Fatal Frame. What it is now is for sure Resident Evil. I don't know if you can still incorporate Silent Hill into it since it's not really a series anymore. So we've got to think of the next franchise that is still a franchise going strong. The survival horror. And, gosh. What would that be? I mean, it would either be the Dead Space series, or I'm gonna bite my tongue for a moment here. The Dead Space series, or wait, you're not gonna like this. Now, when I say the top 3, what I mean and what Mr. Aristocratical means is the most popular survival horror franchises on the market at the moment that are ruling over everything. So the first one, without the shred of a doubt, is Resident Evil. I don't consider Silent Hill. Maybe. It depends on how the Silent Hill 2 remake does. But being that we haven't had a real, legitimate Silent Hill game in years, I don't consider it part of the top 3 franchises anymore. So this one, it's going to bother people, but I think the second runner-up, if I am missing something here, the second runner-up in the world of survival horror as a franchise would be the Outlast series. I know that's going to rival a lot of tail feathers. And then third would be, being that Fatal Frame is no longer dominating anything, I would say it would be the Amnesia series. There'd be Resident Evil, Outlast, and the Amnesia series. And I know that sounds very, very obscure. Because it is. It's the most obscure thing you could say. But if things were in this perfect world, it would go Resident Evil, Silent Hill, Fatal Frame. If these were still going strong. The only one that is still going strong is Resident Evil. So what I'm talking about is consistency. Which franchises are being consistent and consistently releasing games that are doing consistently well with consistent sales and dominating the market? That would be Resident Evil, Outlast, and Amnesia. Now we will Google top 3 survival horror franchises and see what the consensus. Okay, they don't really have it up here. I did forget to mention The Evil Within, but that's only 2 games so far. Outlast is technically on the 3rd game. But if you want to talk about the all-time, yes, I would say Resident Evil, Silent Hill, frame of all time. But in the contemporary world that we are living in, I think that's the way it goes, is the ones that are doing the most well and selling the most games would be Resident Evil, Outlast, and the Amnesia series. Because Fatal Frame has not made a game, Tecmo has not made a game in a while, and let's just see here. Do they plan on making a new Fatal Frame game? So this would be Fatal Frame 6 if they're making a new one. And they need to. And of course, you know, my results are Reddit, and of course, the number one thing they're talking about is the same thing they're always talking about. And we don't need this. They want Fatal Frame 1 and 2 remake. So yes, they're looking for remakes. We don't need remakes of those two. They're perfect. They're perfect as they are. What we need is a new Fatal Frame game. Yes, but like I said, and Mr. Ashcatable said himself, they need to bring back Fatal Frame. I think so far there has been no announcements for a Fatal Frame 6. Trying to... Fatal Frame... Yeah, so far there has been no announcements. Either way, Fatal Frame Mask of the Lunar Eclipse was probably the last good game in the series. The Maiden of Blackwater's not bad, but it's simply not scary. Okay. I feel a strong presence now, God. Oh. Something might show up if I take a photo. Yes, indeed. Something might very well show up. Right. Let's prepare ourselves for the worst. This camera is supposed to have strange powers. Right. At least we're in a big open space. Plenty of room to run. Eight 395. Something is written on the paper. To all infirmary staff, a new patient will be admitted to the 2nd floor. Her name is Ayoko, and she will be in room 207, Orchard Moon. Ayoko will be admitted on the direct introduction of Director Heibara. So we must do everything we can to ensure that her stay is as pleasant as possible. All staff are urged to take the utmost care when dealing with her. I've got a feeling she's going to be showing up. What was that code again? 8395, was that it? I can't see it. Yep, 8395. Oh, that was just a specter, right? Oh, I could have taken a photo. Actually, hold on. I want that picture. I want that picture because this game is hard and I need all the resources I can get. I am going through them like clockwork, so I need everything I can get. Yeah, she had me running. The door to the second floor ward corridor has been opened. Combat in this Fatal Frame is very smooth. Whereas in the maiden of whatever it is, of Blackwater, the Maiden of Blackwater, the combat is very arcade-like, and it's very fun. That's one thing I can say about the Maiden of Blackwater is the combat is extremely fun. But I think the reason being for that is they made it for the Wii originally. So you're supposed to be throwing that remote around and doing silly things with it. But I think they focused on that more than scaring you and they had you reading file after file after file nonstop. And you played as so many different characters, it wasn't even scary after a while. I did see this. All the old butter lies the gate where the door was removed. The fact that you are reading this means that I am no longer in this world. I am the last living member of my family. My mother died giving birth to me, and fate saw that in both my father and brother met with fatal accidents. Wow. The memory of my family and the guilt of being the only one left alive is what kept me going. Now this sickness has taken even small comforts away from me. My memory is the only place where my family still lives. Yet there is nothing I can do to stop this thing from getting inside me and killing me all over again. I can't stand it any longer. I remain alive as the people inside me are killed. The most frightening thing of all is the thought that before long, I won't even be aware of what's happening to me. I lose everything, yet I feel nothing. My family faces death after death, yet I feel nothing. That is why I am choosing to leave this world while I have what little memory remains inside me. Still me. Ooh. So she lost all her family members. Took her own life. It seems that, again, on this island, people vanish, and the bodies that they do find are left in this wretched state of fear where they are covering their faces and gasping in terror. So keep all of this in mind. Something bizarre is going on in this island. Oh, this room. I don't want to have to deal with that little boy again. There's nothing in here for me. The crystal radio and various books lie haphazardly in a broken cupboard. They all show signs of dilapidation and are completely beyond use. So, it's a homework assignment for my little peons. You should look up the term Spirited Away, not the movie, Spirited Away, and just see what it means. I would look it up myself, but it's just, I don't want to. But it's a phrase in Japanese culture, and maybe even Asian culture. It's not a Western phrase, I've never heard that, but there is that movie, which is about being spirited away, I guess. So that's Madoka's voice? Swapped. Jesus, there's like 5 of them. Get off me. Oh, wow. This game was not screwing around with that normal difficulty. Oh no. Of course. $395 again. Oh, I missed it? Are you serious? Didn't even drop any goodies. Right, let's try this one more time. Okay, so one of them is blind, I think. So is it 2 or 3 of them? it's only two. Who's laughing now? So that evade option came in real handy. I'm sorry about this one. Upgrade. I think I know where that is, but this door won't open with it. Indeed. Huh. Is that the room? broken door obstructs the entrance to the room, which is in complete disarray. Yeah, it's the little kid room. Right. Leave. That one simply just won't open. Safe. Be on the safe side. What's the ghost? Telling me to die. No dice. It's Modoka's room. The bookshelf is well stocked. Souls and masks, death, masks, and folklore. An array of masks portraying a range of expressions, each with a nameplate. It must be the names of people who made them. You have to be very careful with that spin button. Ooh, the stun. Ooh, it's Elvira. Rotten masterpiece. The Karuga festival is held on the island on the day of the lunar eclipse. On that day, they say all living souls tend towards the underworld, and that the souls of the dead return from there. Since the moon symbolizes the sun here, the eclipse must be thought of the consumption of the soul. I have read that Rajestu Karuga used to be performed using a mask called the Mask of the Lunar Eclipse. Document I read was very old and fragmented, but I ascertained from it that this black mask was said to have brought to the island a disaster known as the Day of Tranquility. I asked the head of the island about this, but he told me with a fearful look on his face that no such thing ever existed. It seems the mask of the lunar eclipse is something of a taboo subject here. From what I have discovered, the mask is a dangerous artifact, but still I wish I could have had the chance to take a look at it with my own eyes. It could have been a great help in my investigations into the spirit world. Alright, it is getting close to time for Dr. Matnia to skedaddle. I've done enough demonic possession for one day. Mr. Astrocatacol needs to revert to his former human self. And my spirit needs to return to the astral realm and do demonic things. Ooh, how did I get all the way over here? Okay, I want to go the other way first to see what's in Madoka's room before we call it quits for the evening. See what lies in there. It has provoked my curiosity. Are you serious? I didn't get the picture? I saw that happen for here a long time ago. Again? She turned that on to gets me in here. Nice little trick. Very clever. One final save. Things to not auto-save anyways, but to be on the safe side. Remember, boys and girls, and peons alike, playing survival horror, always be on the safe side. It's better to be saved than sorry. here we are. Big secrets I'm feeling finally. There's a diary that looks like it's been here a long time. It's ninth. At nighttime, I know it's time for bed, but I get scared and I can't sleep. I get scared because when it gets dark, I see my face in the window. When I see my face in the window, my face is all wrong. My eyes are wobbly. My nose is bending. My mouth is twisty. Inside my head, it's all twisty too. I want to forget about Ayoko and all the other bad things. But instead, the good parts go away. So I hope tonight I can sleep well. I guess I should probably not look in the mirror. There's no brother here. My darling Madoka, how are you? Did you choose a name for your new pet canary? He's going to be a lovely little friend for you. Sorry I can't visit you more often even while I'm not there, Madoka. You know I'm always thinking of you. I'll bring some crayons next time, isn't it? You enjoy drawing, so I'm sure you'll like them. Doctors say doing the things you like is good for you. It helps you fight the sickness and gets better. Make sure you draw lots of pictures. I know it's scary when you can't remember things you want to remember. Don't forget, Madoka, you're Tasamari. The Tassi in our name means moon. Chill? That means the moon protects us, keeps us safe. So don't worry, Madoka. Do what Dr. Hirobara says. Behave yourself and be a good girl. I'll visit you again very soon. Pleasure upgrade. Don't look in the mirror, eh? Well, there you are. Or not. There's an old nurse logbook on the bed. It might contain useful information. July 19th, one item report. As before the issues of Ayoko in room 207. Around 3 p.m. I heard Madoka crying, so I rushed to her room to check on her. When I got there, I found that her pet canary's head had been snipped off with a pair of scissors. Ayoko was standing there with a pair of blood-stained scissors in her hand, so there's no question that she was responsible for killing the bird. I told her off as usual, but she just laughed at me. I got no sense that she had any appreciation for what she did wrong. It's one thing to say that she can't tell right from wrong, but Ayoko's behavior is just too much. I worry about her negative influence on Madoka and the other children. In accordance with the director's wishes, we are unable to take any effective measures against Ayoko's transgressions. No! I told you. Someone told you about that hand. Ghost hands may appear when you try to pick up an item. Be careful, as you will lose the item if they manage to grab your arm. You can avoid them by releasing B to pull back the hand before they grab you. And I lost the item. Ghost. Pictures hang the length of the wall. They look like crayon drawings by a small child, eh? Across the newspaper rack contains several ancient newspapers. Papers crumble through the touch, and the print is too faded to read. You're returning to the hall. Going to save. That is it for this installment of Fatal Frame, Mask of the Lunar Eclipse. We are at the end of the first episode. Thank you for watching. I am Dr. Natmia, the benevolent spirit of Astrocatapult who commonly possesses him to use his computer, play survival horror games. Been quite the experience with Fatal Frame. We have a litany of other games series that will be seen on the channel shortly. Watching again, Dr. Natman. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you peons in the next one.